Welcome back to the Mile High Club. I'm your host, Chris Moses, and today we have a very special guest, Aaron Holman.
What's going on, bro?
Now, for y'all who don't know, this is a gentleman who has put my career on a whole nother level. I'm not sitting right here in front of this camera, and I'm not making a lot of the moves that I make without this gentleman believing in me, but we're going to get to that. So what's going on? How's everything been going, eh?
Everything's good, man. Everything's good, man. Season's going. I'm in the thick of things right now. Traveling to different schools and all that, trying to prepare for the draft. So, business as usual, bro.
So you talking about the draft? Let's slow down some. Where's Aaron from?
Aaron is from Moberly, Missouri, man. A small town in central Missouri, about 13,000 people. We are about 2.5 hours away from Kansas City and St. Louis. So we literally are right in the heart of
Oh,
the
you dead smack. Okay.
we dead in the center of the state. So small town, everybody knows everybody. My mom raised my brother and I pretty much by herself. So same old, man. Typical childhood, running around. Me and my brother playing basketball. I love basketball. It's part of the reason why I'm here today.
Okay, so for those who don't know, let them know what your ties are to the game of basketball.
So like I said, man, I think when I was born, my grandmother put a basketball in my crib, and from there, man, I just fell in love with it. I was always the little dude trying to play with the old folks, and I played basketball every single day. Every single day. Played all the way through high school. Unfortunately, I didn't get my dad's height.
Right.
So my dad played in Moberly Area Community College. That's how he met my mom. So the community college there is probably one of the top junior colleges
Yeah, they a big deal.
in the country.
Yeah,
in the
they a
country.
big
So my dad was a point guard there. But unfortunately, I never met him. I don't know anything about him. I didn't actually lay eyes on him until his funeral back in like 2015. So I carried that with me a lot. I always played with a chip on my shoulder. I always played angry, and sometimes it got me in trouble. Sometimes I was out of control, but I still carried that little chip on my shoulder with everything I do.
Okay, so you got a history, family background of playing ball, so it's in your bloodline. But so moving forward, coming out of high school, what did you end up going to go do?
Well, coming out of high school, I actually jumped straight into the work field. My stepdad, he was into some extracurricular activities. So he was on vacation for about 8 years.
Okay.
And so when I was about 10 years old, I became the man of the house.
That's a story that in our culture, people can relate to all too well.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. So 16, I remember, going straight from back to basketball practice, picking my brother up, taking him home, fixing him something to eat. And, my mom was working 2 jobs at the time, you know what I'm saying? So my games, wouldn't nobody be in the stands except for my grandmother.
Man, look, I tell people that all the time. When I was in high school, my senior year was probably my best year of basketball.
Yeah.
My mama told me, look, you want them Jordans
Yeah.
or you want me in the stands? In so many words.
Yeah.
Obviously, my mama loved me. She wanted to be at the game, but she worked third shift. I said, man, mama, you can't make the shot for me. You can't determine whether I'm going to turn this ball over or not.
Yeah.
But you can definitely make sure I look right on Friday.
For sure.
Make sure I look good for the party and all that. So now
sure.
I definitely understand that. I can understand where how you feel about like those important moments.
Yeah. So for me, like, even jumping into that, I knew 2 things when I was in high school. One, I wanted to be the first generation college student in my family. And 2, I knew basketball was going to take me somewhere that I didn't even know where it was going to go. Because I eat, sleep, drink basketball. I mean, I'm watching it on TV. I'm going outside, playing it every day. So I knew it was going to take me somewhere. I just didn't know. So when I graduated high school, I jumped right into the work field. I drove a forklift overnight for a factory for like 2 years. And it took a lot of the weight off my mom because, when you're young, you think everything's cool. But there's been plenty of nights I walk past my mom's door closed and I can hear her crying in there. You know what I'm saying? The stress of everything that's going on. And I was just like, yo, I got to kind of put my dreams on hold for a little bit. So straight out of high school, I went to work.
So you didn't even have the chance to really just go chase after like the dream of playing collegiate basketball
Nah,
because you stepped up and became the man in the house. So
yeah,
that's very commendable because especially and I'm pretty sure, like I said, in the environment that you're talking about, it's very easy to fall into drug dealing or
yeah,
stealing and stuff like that. So it's very commendable, and special shout out to your mom and your support system for just how they raised you to be able to stray away from
yeah.
going down that same path that your father figure, stepfather, unfortunately went down.
And
So
the crazy thing is, I wanted to. Like, I wanted to. Like, I was so frustrated from like 13 to 18
right.
that I wanted to do that. And the guys I was with, for whatever reason, when it came time to that,
Nah, they
they
never.
was like, they
Them
was
your
like,
real, them your
no,
real partners.
yeah. So until this day, every time I see them, it's love. You know what I'm saying? Because I wanted to do that. I had so much frustration. I was like, yo, I need to take this out on somebody. And they would, they do all type of stuff. They was like, no, you ain't. You stay in school. You do this. You the good kid out of us.
Yeah, we could rip and run together, but we can't sell
Yeah,
drugs together.
yeah. You the
So
good kid out of
shout
us.
out to them guys, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Like those guys behind the scenes
Yeah.
don't understand how important they are to the success of you and to I got friends that way. I'm pretty sure all of us, regardless of skin, culture, or race,
Yeah.
have those kind of people. So shout out to them. But so how do you make that jump into the basketball world? From the factory and
Yeah,
from
yeah.
small middle of nowhere Missouri.
So I actually, it's step by step, brick by brick, man. And so from second year that I'm removed from school, I kind of like, yo, it's about time to go back to college. And I had a conversation with my mom, and I'll never forget this. And it's kind of a theme in my story. Like, I tell her I want to go back to school, and she'd be like, boy, you dumb as hell. She's like,
I mentioned about she funny too. She said it just like that.
she's like, boy, you dumb as hell. You making all this money. I'm shit at this point, 20 years old.
Yeah, you starting to
Yeah, I make
be
like
solidified and yeah.
doing this. I make like 65K.
Oh yeah, you
You
dumb
know
as
what I'm
hell.
saying?
I'm glad you didn't know me.
So I'm making like, yeah, I'm making good money doing this. And she's like, boy, you dumb as hell. And I was just like, it's just calling me. So I still kept my job
Right.
and took my first 2 years at actually where my dad played at Mobile Area Community College. And I knew that I wanted to go to D1. So I started applying to like USC and things like that, and I was out of here. And the girl I was dating at the time, right before I was going to make my decision, she told me she was pregnant. So I had to do a plan B at that point,
Right.
and I decided to stay and go to Mizzou. And the crazy thing about God's timing is I knew that I wanted to go to school for sports management, and Mizzou didn't have a sports management program at the time. So I was like, Mizzou wasn't even a part of this. And the semester that I ended up going to, it was the first semester that they had a sports management program.
It's how it all that early in your life is all coming full circle from
Yeah.
choosing Mobley to having a child young and just being man enough to not, you could have easily caught a flight, still went on with your life, but being man enough to not only be there, but then still be able to keep your priorities and your dreams, being able to balance all of that.
Yeah.
It's tough. And that's very commendable, dog. Like, and then like you said, because you were just so your headstrong and just so locked in, like you were undeniable. Like you weren't gonna let any situation withhold you, bro. Like I think like for those who know me and know you, that like it makes sense why we click the way we do, because a lot of times in young men and just in people's life in general, when a little adversity hit,
Yeah.
they go to what's safe. They go to just what they know, and that just tells a lot about your foundation.
Yeah.
That when the going get tough, you get going.
Yeah.
And so for you to be willing to take that risk of staying home,
Yeah.
to step up to your responsibilities of your child, and not being there for the mother of the child and just your family, like that's very commendable. And I think God blessed you. We can, I mean, to whatever, everybody has their own beliefs, but it wasn't a coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences, dog. Like, your first year going there, you was going to school, you was gonna figure it out on the go. All you knew was you still gonna go to school, and the fact that they offered that degree, offered that study, your first year there, man, that's God, man. Shout out to the
Yeah,
biggest one.
yeah. I mean, it was just crazy how that happened. And then my senior year at Mizzou, I think for me that honestly laid the foundation of just my character. Because
You can't go in there playing.
no,
You got a kid already.
yeah, I'm outside. I can't go into so for me, college is kind of like it was a whole different experience for everybody else, but me. For me, it was a business trip.
Right.
Like I got 2 years to knock this out, and then I got to get to my goals. Because growing up, I knew I wanted to have a kid. I knew I wanted to be a father. I wanted to be a better father than the fathers I've seen.
Right.
My dad that was absent, my other dad missed 8 years of my life. So I was like, I'm not gonna let that happen. But when you're young, you like, I got time.
Yeah.
I got time. I got time to go to college. I got time to do all these goals. So when my daughter was born, I was like, oh shit.
It changed.
I gotta do this right now.
I get and then you understand the way your mama could grind and sacrifice and do these, could turn into Superwoman and Superman. Like, I know that grind. I know that feeling because my son, his mom got pregnant my sophomore year of college. It was her freshman year, junior college. So she stayed home and, she was pregnant because she played ball too. Ended up being one of the best shooters in the country.
Yeah.
But I was blessed by her, my family, our support system, where my mom and their family felt like go to school, go play ball, get your degree, so you can come back and help. But my freshman year of college without a baby was totally different than my junior year of college with playtime over, and it's just when you have a child in school, dog, it make you grow up. Whether you want to or not, you really I was only child. Was you only child?
No, I had a little brother.
See, I'm the only child.
Yeah.
I woke up thinking about me from the time I woke up to the time I went to sleep. And it's it wasn't that I was just a hateful, just selfish person. That's just all I know.
Yeah.
But once I seen CJ, it changed me.
Yeah.
So balancing that, like I said, I hate to cut you off, but how did you balance that, dog?
I'm gonna tell you, for 2 years straight, I had 4 hours of sleep a day for 2 years straight. So I would move. I transitioned from one warehouse job to live in Columbia, Missouri, where Mizzou is. I drove a forklift all night. I went to school all morning into the early afternoon. I came home, was a father, and I get to lay down at 7 o'clock, take 4 hours, a nap, and then I'm right back to it Monday through Friday, every year. Every day for 2 years. You know what I'm saying? And it was so bad. And just once again, I feel like this is God. My junior year, it's hitting me hard. You know what I'm saying? I'm falling asleep in class.
Yeah.
And one of my professors, he calls me to his office. Now, mind you, Mizzou is huge.
Right.
I got a lot of people in my class, bro.
Right.
So to point me out,
to see you,
me is crazy.
You almost like how the movies, how they make it look like that's Mizzou.
Yeah. So my professor points me as, hey, Aaron, I want you to come to my office after class. So I come to his office. He's like, man, look, you do all your work. He's like, you show up. He's like, but you falling asleep all the time, man. He's like, I see potential in you, but if you're gonna graduate college,
you're going to be awake.
This ain't gonna be it, right? So I sit there, and tears start coming down my face, right? And I tell him, I was like, look, bro, this is not what you think this is. I'm not some normal little, young kid that I partied all last night, and now I'm sleeping in your class.
Right. This ain't that.
And I tell him what's going on, and then he starts crying. So what happens is he's like, yo, all right, from here on out, I'm gonna make an exception for you. He's like, you do great on your assignments, but your tests, we have tests first thing in the morning. He's like, I could tell you don't have a good night's sleep.
Right.
So what I'm gonna do is, if we have tests every Friday, he's like, you go home, go to sleep. your test is on Saturday.
Mm.
And he let me do that the whole 2 years.
Shout out to that professor.
Yeah. So he was at Mizzou for a little bit. I think he's at South Carolina now. But he like that type of help out of nowhere, like just helped me tremendously. And once again, man, my aunts and like you said, the community around you, my mom helping me with my daughter. Uh, I mean, we all got this degree together. You know what I'm saying? 2012.
But I want to make sure that the viewers understand that help is there for those who work.
Yeah.
Like if when people see you using all of your effort and energy and resources on your own,
Yeah.
it makes it very easy for people to give to you and help you. And like that professor only helped you because he's seen you give effort. You wasn't sleeping all day in class and not doing your homework and not returning the quizzes and not responding to the discussion boards and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like your mom and them only are willing to sacrifice and help with the financial because she knows he'll get up and do it himself. He did it for me before he even had a child. Did the mother of your child is only supportive of you because she knows she's been right there with you through this whole grind. So
Yeah.
a lot of people that like the viewers need to understand that help only comes to those who help themselves.
Yeah.
So
So you gotta help yourself first.
to
You gotta
do
be
ex-
willing to help
to
yourself
do
first.
extra more, to get more, you got to do more.
Yeah.
So that's something that I think a lot, especially like the young folks, younger generation of players and just people who are aspiring to do great things on and off in the sports world or just regular or in different avenues of life.
Yeah.
They have to understand that like you have to do extraordinary things to get success. So I think that's a big deal like for you because a lot of people are just going to see, oh, you are where you are in your life and it just you was handed that or everything was just laid out for you. So you started off literally from birth behind the scale,
Yeah.
behind the tipping scale. So
Yeah.
you fighting just for a fighting chance just to be able to take care of your family.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we graduate
Yeah.
from Mizzou and now what?
Yep. So my senior year, basketball is my passion always. So I knew there was only one league I wanted to work in.
What's that?
The NBA.
Right.
The NBA.
Right.
I didn't have to. Yeah, I didn't have to worry about nothing else. So like my whole senior year, I'm creating a LinkedIn account. I'm reaching out to people in the NBA. Like, look, man, I could be basketball ops. I can do
planting the
this.
seed early.
I can do this. So I'm reaching out to everybody. No response. So a lady hit me from the WNBA. Cause I was like, look, the NBA quiet. I'll go to the W and do
Wherever.
my. Yeah,
As long as
I just want in.
NBA is in the
I just want in. I just want to be a part of that. Whatever I got to do, I'm willing to do that. So she hits me back, and she was like, "Look, breaking into the league is hard." She's like, "The easiest route for you is probably gonna be ticket sales." Now, mind you, I come from a small town
Right.
in Missouri. We ain't
Selling tickets nowhere.
We ain't the only people I know selling things, as you already know.
Right. And we didn't get people to come to it. We just, hey, you going to the party? You
Yeah.
heard about?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
it's a little-
So I'm like, all right. So I Google, sales or a sports sales combine. She told me Google sports sales combine.
Right.
So the next one was actually going to be in a couple months in Atlanta. I don't know nobody in Atlanta. I got one cousin. We around the same age. So I tell him, I'm like, look, I'm great. Work overtime. I'm gonna, fly to Atlanta for this little combine. I need to crash on your couch.
Right.
So he's like, yeah, all right, say less. So look, I'm working like 60 hours a week to save up for this. Because the combine itself costs like $1,000
Right.
plus.
Just a year.
Then the ticket to get there is whatever. So I'm like, yo, I gotta, ain't nothing given to me, so I gotta work. So I get down there, and man, I mean, when I tell you, like, if I didn't have like belief in myself, it would have been a shock to me. Cause I'm there with dudes from Harvard,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like these North Carolina prestigious colleges. And I'm like, yo, I'm from Mobley, Missouri.
Right.
that just went to Mizzou down the street.
Right.
And I don't know anything about sales. But one thing about the Atlanta Hawks, man, is they teach you the business of the NBA.
So, how long did you spend with the Hawks?
So inside sales it's a contract to where you got X amount of time to produce. So I think at the time it was 9 months. If we don't feel like you would be an asset to the company in 9 months,
We're gonna
we're
go
gonna
separate,
ship you off somewhere else, or you just done. So for me, I think I got promoted, if I remember correctly, like in 6 months, something like that. I forgot what it was, but I got promoted, and I ended up being with the Atlanta Hawks for 5 years total. So man, I've seen a little bit of everything.
You a vet back there, pretty much is what you saying. You know what I'm saying?
Pretty much.
I
I
feel you.
got great relationships back
Right.
there. So, but yeah, man, they turned me to a monster. But it was like towards the end of it where I kind of knew
That
I,
wasn't what
I
you was here to do.
I was outgrowing the cubicle.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not thinking about generating revenue for them.
No,
I'm looking at the people sitting courtside.
right. Like
It's
if
like-
I can make this money for the Atlanta Hawks, I can probably be in them seats too.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm talking to people I've sold course. I was like, asking them business questions. Like if you got enough disposable income to just buy seats,
Right.
like walk me through how you did what you
What
did.
you doing to get to this spot, right?
And for some reason, man, just agents start like the agent idea just kept running through my head, like being on the player side and just represent players, and I had already did that by accident twice. One of the players from my hometown, he graduated with my brother. He was nice. He was nice. But the coach we had at the time wasn't really rocking with him like that. So I'm calling around as his dad.
Trying to get him in the
Trying to get him scholarships. I'm trying to get him scholarships. So I'm like accustomed to talking to coaches at this point.
Right.
And then my cousin, he played at Vermont, graduated from Vermont, went international, didn't have an agent at one point. And he's like, hey, you went to, Mizzou, you work at the Hawks. He's like, maybe you can work out a deal for me.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, I'm going in blind. I don't know.
Right, just trying to get him somewhere.
Yeah, so I ended up getting him a little situation. And that was kind of light bulb for me to be like, okay, like there might be something here.
In this year.
So at the Hawks, you get like these individual tickets every game that you can get to friends, family, or whatever. When I decided that there was a deadline for the Hawks, I started reaching out to agents in the city. And I was like inviting them down and, bring your family and all that and free tickets on me. But at the time, like, yo, I'm picking your brain. That's why in my head, I'm picking your brain. So I invited an agent down by the name of Shasta Scott. And he comes down with his family. And I bring him courtside and his kids running around the court and all that.
That's about right.
And I was like, hey man, I gotta, be real with you. Obviously I invited you and your family down. But I'm thinking about leaving here to become an agent. And I just want to pick your brain about it. And man, when I tell you we chopped it up for the entire first half of that game, like I took the kids to the seats and all that, and we just talked from there. And he was like, look, man, this is what you got to do, this and this and this and that. And he was my mentor when I left the Hawks. Yeah.
Not to cut you off. So how me and A even know each other is through Coach Shasta Scott. Shasta was my assistant coach. I tell anybody who will listen, I graduated from everywhere university. I transferred more. I am the transfer portal. Like I was bouncing around any eyes like I was, you know what I'm saying, the top 5. I think yours is.
Yeah, right under.
Nah, this is me. Yours
No,
is.
it's right under your chin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So boom, I'm like, so Shasta, I end up back in Hawaii my second time around, and we got a different staff, and Shasta's a assistant coach. So if you know Shasta, black, tall, play ball, he young enough where he can still run with us, but he too old to really really be able to, but he cool. So more than Shasta taught me basketball, he like, hey Chris, like you need to go to class, like pull your pants up, or like, hey come here man, like I see you trying to talk to a girl, like you got to do it this way, like you feel me? So we built a relationship first, and then he was able to hold us accountable. That's something that I always valued and appreciated with Coach Shasta. But how I even ended up, one of the reasons why I ended up starting even training is I'm a workout guy. For those who know me, I train, whatever, cool. But I'm in the gym. If I'm working out and I got to pass you the ball, You gonna come in here, you gonna stand right here in this corner. I'm gonna work on my move, I'm gonna kick it to you, and we're gonna do this till we can't do it wrong, kind of thing. So me and my teammates are in there working out. I'm constant, but I'm leading the workouts. So one day we got a game, and I don't know nothing about this agency stuff. One day we go to, where do we go? We played a big school. We played a D1 school. I can't remember when the school. UT Chat.
Okay.
We go to UT Chat, and a guy busts our ass. And after the game, shots after the game, we shaking hands. Shots to give this man a card. Hey, what the fuck, shots?
That's
You
like, yeah.
what the hell? He like, man, you tripping, like this is business. Like I'm a sports agent. Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, I don't understand that.
Yeah.
So moving forward, Shasta lived in our dorms at the time. He was like our RA. So he hit me up, he like, hey, come to the gym. So I'm like, all right, I think he want to play or whatever. So he like, look, you in the gym all the time working out. You want to do me a favor? I'm like, what's up? He like, if you do these workouts, if you do this workout for me, I'll look out for you. I'll give you some change, put some change about. I'm like, all right, bet.
Yeah.
So it was the dude from UT Chat.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, man, what the hell? No, so I ended up working him out though.
Yeah.
Whatever, cool. And that allowed Shasta to be able to sit back and just assess him.
Yeah.
Whatever, give him, but because he seen him in the game, so now he got an opportunity to assess him. So after it goes smooth, Shasta's like, hey man, that's something you should really look into doing. He's like, you know, I got this thing, Sims Placement Academy, I'm putting guys such and such places. Like this would be a good look for you. You know, you can come down, you know, work your move, whatever. So when you get done playing ball, when you put that ball down, you know, you can pick your suitcase up. I used to always say that. Put your ball down, pick your suitcase up, you'll be all right. So either way, you know, moving forward, you know, I end up finishing ball and all of that. And on social, I see them on Facebook that they're doing the academy. Well, the first year y'all did it, they did it. I didn't come.
Yeah.
I'm still, you know, doing my groundwork in Kentucky and Tennessee. I'm not really comfortable to leave yet. That second year come around, I'm hold on now. Y'all got names in there, checks is getting cut. So I'm like, hey, what's good? Like, can I come down there and work? So shout out my dog Ralph. Ralph, he'll drive, because if you know me, I can't make it cross the street without getting sleepy. But we end up coming down to the gym, and he tell me who you is. You had no idea I knew who you was the whole. I'm lining you up the whole camp. He like, look, I got a guy, young black dude. I'm gonna show you who he is. But look, cause you had on sweats, so you had on the Holman sports.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, he cool. He like, no, listen, he a businessman, okay? He like, look, you come in here, you shake the room, you know, you put yourself in a situation to talk.
Yeah.
So, you know, I go handle my business. I go down there. I'm the loudest person. I got the energy. I end up being selected. It was like 15 other coaches out there.
Yeah.
A lot of big name coaches and trainers and stuff like that, especially in the Georgia area. Where I end up being selected for the little all-star game or whatever, cool. We drive home. I ain't gonna lie to you. I didn't sleep the whole way home. The funny part is, I didn't sleep because I'm arguing with Shasta. He act like he didn't want to cut me no check. So I'm Shasta, look, I'm not your homeboy. I need a check, dog. Like, I'm no longer your teammate. I mean, your player. Like, I need a check. So we laugh about that. But he the one inspired me to say, hey, man, you need to holler at him about, you know, the coach and all that. So you like George, one of my players. And I'm like, okay, cool. You going to be my reason to come over here and talk to you.
Yeah.
So we converse, we exchange numbers. When I get home, bro, I'm literally in the driveway. Hey, and I'm like, Ralph, I'm finna do it. I'm like, do what? I'm finna ask him. And I'm like, hey, I still got the message. Hey, like, hey, my name is Chris Moses. I'm the guy you met. Make it look easy. I had a bullshit ass resume. I sent to him. I'm like, look, I would love to be, you know, your player development, you know, skill development guy. And you open it, and your read receipt was on, said red. And you read that motherfucker kind of fast. Now that I think about it, I don't know if you really read it or not. But it was like, it was bubbles. I'm like, oh shit, he writing back. Yeah. I'm literally sitting in the car. We ain't moved. We ain't unlocked the door. I'm like, shit. You like, well, man, I ain't never really just thought too much about it.
Yeah.
And but you like, shit, let's come up with a number. We can figure it out. I said, oh, I got him. And the rest is history. But I just had to get that story like that. I just had to. But so boom. Shasta is at the game, and you reach out to him and you let him know, okay, cool.
Yeah.
This is what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. So when I decided to leave, this part gonna sound crazy, because if you know me, I'm kind of more
calculated. You don't go nowhere. You socks you choose from. Y'all don't like. This is a waste up. But if you can see A's whole outfit, He got designer shoes on, some socks that matches underwear, probably that matches t-shirt. Like everything A do is calculate. He don't say nothing
Yeah.
that he ain't playing for. So
Yeah. So this next part is going totally opposite of that. I just jumped out the window.
what your mama say?
I didn't tell nobody.
What your mama tell you?
So
You dumb as hell.
yeah. I didn't tell nobody. So at this time, I'm dating my girlfriend, who's now my wife at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't tell nobody. I just decided to do it. I didn't have no plan. I didn't have no way I was gonna get income.
Right.
So I just jumped out the window, bro. I just jumped out. I text Shasta. I was like, yo, I'm gonna give them my 2 weeks, and then after that, it's up. And that's all I did. And I was with Shasta all the time.
And he don't sit.
I mean,
Man, if you know, you know. He don't sit still.
no.
But he has somewhere to be. Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in
Shasta.
peace to Shasta.
But yeah, if you know Shasta, he putting some miles on that car. He ain't care.
Yeah, we was everywhere, man. We was on the road. We went to Portsmouth. I was just with him, man. I was just a sponge. I was
Just
trying to
soaking
learn
all up.
as much as I can, and I jumped right into FIBA, and I was doing FIBA from 2018 to 2020. And we still do FIBA now, but at that time I was learning everything I possibly could from him.
Just getting some skin in the game.
Yeah, but I told him, I was like, look, like, you know me. I was like, I wanted everything got to be big.
Right.
I want to go to the highest level. So I'm gonna start off doing this FIBA stuff.
Right,
but I'm working to get to the NBA. Yeah.
So boom. So
fast forward 2020.
2020. So we here now.
We here now.
So we do the pre-draft. So that was
COVID year.
Yeah, COVID.
That was COVID year. So
Sure
my
was.
rookie year as an agent in the league was COVID year.
That's crazy.
So I'm lining up, workouts for the client we was working out at the time.
Yeah.
And I mean, all this is done by Zoom.
That was crazy.
Like, when you talk about an introduction to the league, it's just like, yo, all right, you a new agent, figure it out in COVID.
And the crazy part through all this, a lot of agents, especially during that time, aren't as hands-on as you are. That's one of the things that like make you different from me, is that like for the client that we had at the time, you flew him in.
Mm-hmm.
We moved him in the crib,
Mm-hmm.
and when we move him in the crib, keep in mind, y'all, I don't have no money at the time. I got a 3-bedroom house, so I got an extra bedroom. We turned CJ room into what it was a futon and a TV in there into a full bedroom. He bought the bed, he bought the headboard, he bought all the furniture in there.
Yeah.
Along with paying for 3 a day. We was training 3 times a day. He was going 2 times with me, 1 time with my guy Kenny. Kenny can't wait to have you on here. Train 360 was good.
Yeah. We got something in store for him this year too.
Yeah. We on to something with him.
Yeah.
But you coming out of pot, like people, like, not to jump, but people think that this agency stuff, you just get a percentage and that's it. How much, just roughly, let's just talk about training with me and Kenny, roughly. Now, because you was helping with the rent too.
Mm-hmm.
How much you think you spent, invested?
Yeah. That it was like, how many months was that? Like,
I had him for 4 months. I had him from April, May, June, July. Yeah, because that year everything was late, right? Because the bubble and all that was still getting played. So yeah, I had him to August.
Yeah.
So from April to August,
between you, Kenny, all other expenses, it was in the ballpark of like 15,000, 20,000.
Explain to these people like that you're not just pulling this money from, for lack of better words, out your ass.
No.
Like you doing whatever it takes. You're really betting the house. You and your family, because now you're not doing it by yourself no more. Now you're married.
Mm-hmm.
Aaliyah was what, 6th grade? 5th grade? She was 5th or 6th grade. She like at that needy. Like she a child. She a child that know what she want.
She just turned 10 years old at the time. She just turned 10.
She still do think you Superman, but at that time she definitely, because she's spoiled rotten. She definitely didn't know what no was then. Like, so you trying to provide, still be a husband, be a father, be an agent.
Yeah.
and take care of the business.
So that goes back to my 2 years at Mizzou.
Come on, man.
It was just like whatever I had to do to get it done, that's what it did. I mean, I'm funding all this out of pocket.
Literally, I'm watching you like
I'm funding all of
like
this out of pocket.
we don't have no back. We don't got no backer, no private
no.
behind the scenes guy, investor. We don't have none of that. Like
I'm funding all of it.
A is literally transferring the money from his account right to me.
I'm funding all of it out of pocket.
Come
so
on,
there was just days I was doing all type of oddity and stuff, man. Like I break off my days early in the morning. I'm setting up workouts. I'm responding to emails.
Hold on, please make sure that they understand this is before you had any kind of. You still hadn't had an NBA, G League.
No.
This is just chasing the dream.
Yeah,
still.
this is out the muscle.
Right,
So
okay.
like to go back from the 2 years at Mizzou and everything I learned at the Hawks, I had to grind, but I knew how to hunt properly. Like I don't have any NBA resources.
Right.
I didn't know anybody that played in the league. I ain't nobody who's, oh yeah, my dad used to do this. Like no, I'm getting all this from scratch. So I'm looking up, all right, this the GM for such and such? All right, cool. What's their email address? All right, let me go to the group sales. Oh, okay, that's how they end their with? All right, cool. I'm sending them an email blind. They don't know who I am.
Right.
And I'm doing that with all 30 teams. To where I'm hitting them with so many emails. Sister GM, hey man, just call me.
Right.
Now I got phone numbers. And I'm doing this with all 30 teams. So now I done built a network within the NBA myself.
But on your own.
On my own.
Yeah.
On my own.
Yeah.
So now I'm looking up, I got, the Memphis GM, I got such and such. They responding to me via text message. They calling me about our client. And for me, that was crazy. Like sometimes I had to take a step back. I'm like, yo, I just read an article about you last year, and now I'm talking to you on the phone.
Come on.
Like that's crazy. So from that standpoint, I'm using most of my day to do that early. The rest of the day, I gotta pay you.
Right, like we gotta figure out. Because listen to me clearly. The price went up a lot from the time I met A to 2020. Trust me. If you know, you know. It wasn't a ball being bounced. They didn't have nothing to do with making it look easy.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I gotta pay you. I gotta pay Kenny. I got covered these other expenses.
And you got your own.
And I got my own.
Shout out to wife because God knows she did her due diligence too.
No, she is.
That support system is unreal.
Yeah,
I've seen it firsthand.
From anybody who's starting something from scratch, and they ask me like, what's the most important thing? A right spouse. Early. If it's not one, then it's definitely two. Because you gotta have that support system that believes in you, and they will call you out if you ain't doing what you say you was gonna do. Like so, if you trying to do anything, right? They see you every day.
Right.
So when they get frustrated, they gonna let you know that you're not doing what you say you was gonna do. How you gonna do such and such when you only do it once a week? Like nah. So knowing that, I know she's watching me. So I'm home with sports every day, every single day. Saturday, Sunday, I'm doing something related to home sports, and that she sees it.
You text my phone or call me every day with something. It's like, hey, it's Sunday. It's 8:00. Like people are the GM is on his way to church, but you text the man on the way to church.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, you ain't
I was hungry, bro, and they can feel that over the phone, like the energy you had at the combine.
You gotta have that every day.
You gotta have it all the time.
You literally, you can't have a I'm tired day.
No.
So boom, we go through that process with the client. Do our due diligence. We unfortunately, things go in a different direction. So now, I remember going back. We went to either Evansville or we was going to Vincennes. I cannot remember. But I remember you telling me, hey, see, like, we're on a timetable. Like, I gave myself to this year, a certain year, or something to that extent. Do you remember that conversation?
Yeah.
And you was like, look, I have to be at a certain level, or like, we're gonna have to kind of like appropriate,
Yeah,
restructure our
restructure what's going on.
priorities.
Yeah,
So I'm like, I mean, all right, I'm with you, however you want to do it. Like, I don't have nowhere else to go. At this point, we just be real. I didn't have nowhere. Hey, wherever you going, like, wherever
yeah,
you leading us, that's where we going, like.
yeah,
So moving. So after that situation, now we end up with Pedro, right? Pedro ends up signing with us.
yeah.
That situation was very tough for me because I had to walk, and y'all who know, episode 2, the episode before this one, y'all gonna meet Pedro and y'all will hear that story from his point of view. But it was tough for me because I'm betting the house on you. And I'm betting the house on Pedro.
Yeah.
I love at this point, like you my God, like I don't mind saying this. I love you.
Yeah.
So I don't want to mix
Yeah.
two things that like I love. Like I don't want to have nothing to do with the demise of either one of y'all.
Yeah.
You saying me telling you, hey, you need to sign Pedro, this is that, using my leverage,
Mm-hmm.
I'm using our relationship and your trust in me. Tell you need to sign this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want to be like, hey, Pedro, like, you need to come sign way because, hey, this is my boy, and then it don't work. And then it's like, well, Chris, you said,
Yeah.
kind of thing. So for me, what made me comfortable doing it is that you and Pedro are so much alike. Like, just the way, like, y'all move, the way y'all think, like, the way y'all process stuff. So it made it easy for me because I knew even if once I got over the fear of things not going the right way, I had to think who these people are. Like, even if I tell, hey, you need to sign Pedro, he gonna go do his due diligence and research anyway. Hey, Pedro, you need to go sign with. Hey, he gonna go do his due diligence and all that anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like once Pedro went through what he went through with his respective previous agency, he came to me
Yeah.
to be real, and was like, what's up with Aaron? Like, if he good for you, I know he good for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, look, we on the ground, like with it, like we still on the way up, but it ain't nobody out here that work harder than him. Ain't no, he gonna overturn every rock. He gonna do everything he can to put you in the best situation. And a lot of people see where Pedro is now. And yes, Pedro is where he is. He put himself in that position with his play and his performance. And, some good luck and just God bless him and being at the right place at the right time. But a lot of people don't know behind the scenes that Pedro was being told from, certain people and certain sources that he wasn't even a thought
Yeah.
at that level. So let's talk about, we know we can talk about where Pedro is at now, but talk about taking Pedro on. You took Pedro late too.
Yeah. I think the beauty of acquiring Pedro was I was ready for Pedro.
Oh yeah, shit.
If this was a year before, I don't know if I could honestly say I was.
Right.
But everything I learned going through that 2020, just everything, that whole process, I was able to download that. I was like, okay, this is what we did well. This is what we could have did better at. And by the time Pedro came, I was ready to go. Like I already had the resources. I already had the contacts. I knew exactly how the business went. I knew exactly what scouts look for, what GMs look for, what assistant GMs look for. So I was more than ready for Pedro, and I still had that fire to me. I still had a little chip on my shoulder. I was like, all right, that situation didn't happen the way it was supposed to happen. I got to take that. So now when the next shot, I'm ready to go.
Right.
And like I said, Pedro came to us a week before the draft, week and a half before the
Yeah,
draft.
nah, I wouldn't even give it. If it was a week, it was the 7 days
Yeah.
before before the first ball, before the first pick.
Yeah. So you told me about the situation. He's like, hey, his previous representation told him he had no interest. The league didn't have no interest.
Couldn't get a workout.
No, couldn't get a workout. He was an international player. That's what that's what they told him.
Respectfully, nothing wrong with that. But Pedro, he just wanted the chance.
Yeah.
Like, just put me in a room, and if I'm good enough, I'm good enough. If I'm not, I'm not. And respectfully so, understand that Pedro could have those kind of thoughts and emotions because he's been successful at the high school level. He was at the NBA Top 100 camp. In collegiate level, he was first team all conference. He literally was a finalist for the conference MVP.
Yeah. No, he was
He
accomplished.
dotted all the I's and crossed all the T's, so he could talk like that.
Yeah.
So understand he ain't just, oh, I'm good enough and I want a chance. He could,
No, he
the
could back it up.
numbers, like his resume, bagged up those, the things he was asking for. So
Yeah.
understand that you can work hard, you got to work hard, but you also got to have the numbers.
Yeah.
So,
The numbers are a huge part of this.
and God bless him being 6'7".
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, that too. But once we get into the actual process of it, but the numbers are very important. You gotta be able to back up what you say or what you're trying to sell to these teams that you can do.
So talking about that, how were you able? So what did you do when you took them on? Well, obviously you did your research. You said, okay, you got the numbers, whatever. I can market this.
Yeah.
What's the first step?
The first step is, I mean, for me, man, I'm gonna keep it simple. As soon as me and you was like, okay, let's do this, I hit the ground running. I reached out to everybody in my phone. It was like, hey, I got this versatile wing that's a great shooter, great defender, so on and so forth. I know it's late in the game. Do we have an opportunity for a workout? And mind you, this the week of the draft. Two teams like, yeah. So, go through the draft. Doesn't hear his name called. So with me and the way I work with my clients, I'm very direct. I'm not sugarcoating nothing. I'm like, look, this is the plan. This is what we got to do. But know that I'm going to be with you every step of the way during this process. You ain't going to feel alone at all.
That's something that's important too. Players need to make sure the people that are representing them aren't just pencil pushing. You should be able to understand and know what exactly your agent works for you.
Yeah. I tell Pedro that all the time. I tell all my clients all the time.
And it's like that you have to be able to know what questions to ask and not be scared or nervous to ask a question. If you don't know, they should be able to tell you.
Yeah.
Right. So it's important. One of the things I like about you is you don't shy away from telling it is what it is, just being upfront and honest. And I know that's something that I value and that all players, especially Pedro, value. So players going into that next part of your career, make sure when you're talking to these agents that these are people that are open with information, whether it's good or bad, and just going to just be raw and uncut honest with you, believe in you, and going to do everything they can to put you in the position that you're asking to be in.
Yeah, and make sure they're comfortable having that uncomfortable conversation with you, because a lot of these agents will tell you and will sell you a dream. Like, I think you're talented enough to go first round, knowing that they're hearing from these GMs. I think he's projected as this, but they won't tell the player that because they're in fear of hurting the player's feelings, losing the player, so on and so forth. Me, I'm not built like that. I've been having to be a grown man since I was 10 years old.
Come on, man.
So I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. So with Pedro, I was like, look, I got you late, but we still have a shot. Like, we still have a shot to this. This is the plan. Summer League, we going out there. Yeah, you're not playing in Summer League.
Listen, bro, I'm not going to lie to you. When Pedro told me, hey, bro, I'm going to Vegas, I'm like, bro, shut the fuck up. I got you in Summer League. The hell? Shit, that's part of the reason why I started thinking like, well, damn, I need to see if I can get the G in the NBA. Shit, you in Summer League shit. But he like, nah, we just going out there. We're going to go talk to the people. I'm like, hold on. A is finna pay for you and him to go to Vegas.
Yeah.
To shake hands, kiss babies, for the hope that they'll draft you, a hope for you to get a workout. Like, he like, yeah, that's what we're doing. I'm like, all right, if they ain't doing it, it got to be real.
Because for me, especially going through what I went through early, a big part of this, the draft process in general, is face-to-face. Like
Once again, it's hard to tell you no in your face.
Yes.
And that's where the Hawks and all that.
Yeah. So like they have to see you. And unfortunately for Pedro, they get a chance to see him perform on the court. But I knew that's a huge part of it. So like, look, I'm setting up meetings. You're gonna meet with these people. You're gonna talk to them. They gotta get a sense of your personality, who you are. They're gonna look you up and down. I'm sorry, he's pretty tall. All the things that they look at from a basketball
The
standpoint.
intangibles,
Yep. So I'm like, look, we're going to line up as many meetings as possible, and we're going to knock them down. They're going to know who Pedro is as a person. That's step one. Step two, when it comes down to open tryouts and workouts and
We
stuff,
pulling up.
we pulling up to
We
everybody.
ain't missing no bump.
We pulling up to everybody, and Pedro was on the road, and it was it caught up to him towards the end, but it was necessary. I mean, we had to. I mean, we had no choice. So I told him, like, look, we're gonna go to Vegas. We're gonna shake hands. We're gonna kiss babies. We're gonna do all this stuff. When we get back, you're gonna train. And then when it's time to go, we going everywhere. We going to Indiana. We going to Atlanta.
I remember you had us one time. We were in Louisville because that's where he did his preseason, pre-draft, and all that training. We did the workout, and you was like, "Hey, I don't want no edits." Like from when tying his shoelaces to him taking his shoes off, and then we sent that out. I remember you sent it out, and he was like, immediately, his team's just traction, and I'm like, "Oh, Joe, you might really." Like, you really might get on for real.
Because one thing about these, there's thousands of me hitting these guys up all the time. They can smell bullshit from a mile away. So with me, I'm coming in, and I believe, and I want to believe that that's why I have the relationship that I have. There's no bullshit with me.
Right.
So if the video edited, they can tell it's edited.
Right.
Like, no, let it run. Let it run. Whatever happens. And like I said, we sent it out, and the traction was there, and the G League draft came, and he ended up being drafted. Second round, yeah.
So Joe makes it to the league, which is great. Everybody, I mean, to the G League, which is a great opportunity for everybody. I'm happy. It's a great look for me. It's a great look for the agency. It's obviously a great look for him. So he gets drafted second round to the
Salt Lake City
Stars.
Yep.
He's playing with Zaire Wade was the first pick. It was Pedro the second one, and then JC Show. That's a great name. I can't forget that name. Shout out JC Snow. JC Snow. So how does that go for him? Rookie year?
Rookie year, he got a crash course in the business of basketball. And we had talked about that prior to the season. And with me, every information that I have, I'm going to let you know. Everything. So this could potentially happen. Also, this could potentially happen. You could go in there and, they already have two-way guys. They have guys down. You may not get any playing time. You have to be ready. You have to be ready. You have to be able to find your niche within this. And like I said, we both going through his rookie year, we learned a lot. But like I said, going through my first rookie year for me,
right,
I was able to, when the challenges came, I was able to act quickly.
Yeah, we took every bump.
Yeah,
in the road.
We took everything. We took everything. So when it came down to Pedro, unfortunately with the Salt Lake situation, a lot of guys, two-way guys and things like that, they played the same position as him. So, they approached him. He's like, hey, Pedro, we love you. But we didn't think these guys were going to be down as much as they were. And it's really cutting into your opportunity. So, we're going to have to waive you.
Respectfully. And keep in mind, he got waived. And like a couple of weeks before, he was like player of the week, G League player
of the week. Had 27, 20, 24, 27.
Against the Oklahoma City Blue. And it was some very, very big time players on that roster, and he played very well.
Yeah.
Was playing good minutes, was adjusting very well, but unfortunately, it's a numbers game. And so now he's back in the free agency pool. Now,
not long.
Yeah, and part of that is, like I said, it's to his performance, but the other part of it is the behind the scenes stuff, all the phone calls, all the relationships that you're making, and then as well as him, when you're respectable, when you go about the game the right way, when you respect the people out there and you shake hands and you go about the game and the business the right way, it makes it very hard for you to be out long. And keep in mind, once again, he's 6'7". He dribbles just as well as your starting point guard at your respective school and college. He shoots the ball like a pro. He can guard the 1 through 4. He'll die for the loose ball. He'll take the charge. He's your utility guy. And if you give him 20, 25 minutes, he'll get you 19 and 20
Yeah.
and 10 and 11 rebounds.
Yeah.
If you give him 5 or 6 minutes, he'll get you 7 points, 5 rebounds, a charge,
Yep.
2 or 3 assists. So being able to, his versatility along with his professionalism and his performance has allowed him those
Yeah.
opportunities.
And see, what a lot of people don't know, and like I said, this is behind the scenes stuff. Every team that Pedro played for in his rookie year, we met them face to face in Vegas. If that doesn't happen, I'm not sure that happens.
Come on, man.
Um,
Every day is an interview.
Every day.
In the G League, at this level, every day is an interview. Whether it's they watching how you walk, how you talk, how you play. When things are going well, when somebody on your team take a bad shot, do you sprint back or do you look at coach?
Yeah.
When somebody make a mistake, do you point the finger and cuss and fuss, or are you putting the arm around them and next play?
Yeah.
When things go well, are you acting crazy on social media? Or are you still getting up for shoot around? Because during last year they was playing back to backs.
Yeah.
So if you wake up, you get up early for pregame. The first game they want to see, are you coming right on time? Are you
Yeah.
coming early?
Yeah.
How you wearing your clothes and how your upkeep of yourself.
Yeah.
Even as an agent, are you one of those agents that okay things ain't going this way? You blowing my phone up and
Yeah.
or are you going trust the process and respect that everybody knows their job and is going to do their job to the highest level.
Yeah.
So Pedro, like you said, he jumped around.
Yeah, he was with Sioux Falls, he was with Iowa, and he landed with Fort Wayne. And ironically, Fort Wayne was one of the last teams that we met with in Vegas. And he was able to find his niche because this whole process, Pedro was getting frustrated because he wasn't getting a chance to play.
Play, yeah.
Yeah, so he's like, I don't know what my role is in the league. And we've had plenty of conversations about that. I was like, look, with your size and with your ability, they are going to be more comfortable with you as a 3-and-D player.
You can come right here, right now,
And
that don't affect you trying your best to be the best defender and make the wide open threes.
Yep.
Doesn't do anything but give them a better chance to win.
Yep.
Everything else you do outside of that is icing on the cake.
Yep.
What I love about your representation is you just raw and real. Like, look, we don't need you to score 20.
No.
It's not gonna look good. It doesn't help us. We could, for Instagram purposes and for social media and for your mom and dad and all your little fans, we can make them happy with you out here going to go chase.
Yeah.
Or is your real goal to make it to the league? If you want to make it to the league, we need to realistically do this, that, and the third. Because they're not bringing you to the A. They're not calling you up to score 20. They already got a guy that they're paying millions.
Yeah. Like, so what,
Dollars.
within my first initial conversation with a player, we talk about that. It's just like, hey, I don't know, basketball for you has been one thing up to a certain point. When you cross this threshold, it's going to be something totally different.
Totally different.
And you got to be mentally prepared for that.
And it's tough.
And I walk with it. It's tough because you've been playing a certain way your whole life.
We on the interview, me and Pedro was talking, and he said it. And you got to think about it. I've been with Pedro since he was like 6th or 7th grade. He said, "Man, I've been the best player on every team my whole life until I got." I'm like,
yeah.
When you tell everything, like, yeah, but a couple AAU teams, I mean, obviously he played with respectively like Terry and who's obviously in the league, and he's had success earlier. But I'm like, shoot, and you out of his group, like, yeah.
But it's and what I tell players, it's deeper than that though. I mean, yeah, you were the best player, but you also got treated like the best player.
Come on, man.
Like your family, your coaches were letting you get away with certain things that they normally wouldn't let other players get away with. When you get here,
everybody's job on the line.
that stops.
Yeah, everybody's job on the line. You look the wrong way, it might cost you.
That stops. And depending on, everybody has their own style. Every front office has their own style. Some front offices will meet you where you at. This how you want to act. We right there with you.
Holla at you. It's been real.
But others, they just take mental notes. They just watch. Oh, okay.
For the re-up.
I was like, oh, okay. So now, when a team calls and they're interested in you, they got receipts that they didn't even tell you about. You thinking it's, everything's cool. No, they've been monitoring you this whole time. So I have those type of conversations with players. Like, look, this is what you got to be prepared for. And if this is something that you can't handle mentally, because now the NBA and the G is more mental than anything.
Oh yeah, because everybody can play.
Everybody can
You
play.
give everybody enough opportunity, they'll rise to the
Yeah,
occasion.
but the mental obstacles that you go with, are you mentally tough for that? Because if you are, you're gonna have a long career.
Right.
If you're not, you might have a couple 2 years or whatever,
We'll
and
holler
then
at you.
you out the
You'll
league.
be in China
Yeah,
respectfully.
yeah. I mean, ain't nothing wrong with that. I mean, you make a lot of
But
money over
if you
there.
want to be in this organization, you got to get with the program.
Yeah, yeah.
By any means. So he ends up with he finishes the season with the Pacers, and he finally he builds some
finds-
chemistry.
Yeah, he
with that.
finds.
He finishes strong.
Yeah, he finds his
For
niche. He finds his niche in the league.
so that summer, we really don't know. Excuse me, what's to come because he finishes strong. How does his summer look? What is the process is going into that second year?
Well, we try to build on that from an agent standpoint. He ended it away. They gave me some type of leverage
Right.
to talk to teams, and the great thing about Pedro's situation is he did such a great job with Fort Wayne in such a short amount of time that they were willing to bring him back. They wanted to bring him back.
They brought him back early.
Yeah,
Crazy. Pedro, he pointed this out to me the other day, because at this level, it's a lot of other things outside of basketball that go into opportunity, whether it's playing time, whether it's the shots, a shot selection that you're able to have. A lot of it there's other factors, outlying factors that go into that, and for Pedro to be able to come in and be able to make an impact, and for them to want to bring him in and be a part of that when he's the only standard guy. It's 12 spots. I think it's so many two-ways, so many E10s. He's the only guy that is there solely for the G League.
Yeah.
And
It's a statement.
we would like to think for him to be in the mix of things. Like should be rotten on the bench, especially when the team loaded. We got last year's MVP of the G. We got Gabe York. I think he went top 3 or 4 in scoring.
No, his whole team is talented, top to
Justin him like from top to bottom. And
yeah, he's a valuable piece for them.
From a guy who played a year of D2 basketball. His junior year was playing D2, then they went to D1, and for his story to be one of the guys that's in the mix, like he's in the rotation. He's a valuable piece to what they're doing in this organization's second year. Just attests to his professionalism, his faith in you, and his faith in that organization. So,
now the sky's the limit for Pedro. Like I said, he's playing himself to go exactly where he's trying to go. And, he believes in the process. Everything's a process. And he understands that. He understands that from, the first time me and him talked. He's like, this is not going to be easy, but it's going to be a process. And if you believe in the process and everything that each step requires, you're going to get to exactly where you're trying to go. And he's doing a phenomenal job. And he's playing himself to give himself a real opportunity. And we've had, a number of NBA teams reach out, and he will be in front of some NBA teams this summer without saying too much.
Hey,
so
that's all we can ask for is opportunity. So now we at the tail end of the episode. So I like to call this part of the episode overtime. I'm going to ask you some quick hitters. You're in the hot seat.
Okay.
So I want to ask you a couple questions. What are 3 things that you're looking for in a player when you're going to scout a player?
3 things I'm looking for.
It don't even got to be 3. What are a couple things that you look like? Some of the things that they got to check this box.
For me, passion is up there. Like, you have to live and breathe this, because I live and breathe this, and I don't even dribble a ball.
Right.
So you gotta love this game just as much as I love this game.
And it's very easy to see that in your play.
You can
can't
tell.
fake it.
You can tell who's just out there because it look cool.
Also, players, you can tell if you playing hard because the way your teammates react and the way your coaches react.
Yeah.
Oh, now you playing hard because it's an agent over here, or it's an NBA. So at Western, there's a lot of talent,
Yeah.
highly talented players here on the national level that have some NBA prospects. So every night it's an NBA dude here.
Yeah.
So you can tell, you wasn't sprinting, you wasn't getting back in practice. Oh, now you want to get back in. Oh, you wasn't talking then.
Yeah.
Oh, don't take this shot now. You wasn't taking it the day before.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can't. You can always, for me, as a player, you a player too. You can tell the body language from the coach.
Yeah.
You can tell, the other 4 guys on the floor, and you can always tell the guys on the bench. So
Yeah.
you can't fake passion and just who you really are. You can't trick the people who know better.
Yeah. The next thing would be IQ. How you play the game.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? How many dribbles does it take for you to get to where you're trying to go? Because for my third thing is what you do transferable.
Y'all listen. And I'm a trainer. I'm a guy who my bills get paid from clients spending money to come work out. Training is great. I mean, I think it's a tool, but people shouldn't depend on training. The best advice I have for young players, and when I say young players, I mean like middle school, high school, college, even pros, young pros, go play up a level. So middle school guys, go play with the high school guys, because if you can't play the right way, they're not going to play you. You're not going to play another game. High school guys, go play with the college guys. Because if you can't play with the same level of IQ, if you can't catch on, because you got to start from the bottom at every level. But if you can't catch on fast enough, you're not as good as you think you're. Pros, the college guys, go play with the pros.
Yeah.
That's why you see Remy and them have the runs in Miami. What's them doing in UCLA? Or, the NBA guys are going. Those Terry and Pedro and all those young pros are going out to go get that bump with those guys, not for the cameras, not to say I got to play with such and such. It's where you can ask questions after the game, or you're learning you're in those situations.
Yeah.
That's what the plan is for, to put you in situations where then you can go back and take that knowledge and apply it not only for yourself, but you can teach your teammates or even sometimes your coaches to put them in a better situation. So getting that bump, you got to play the right IQ. You don't have to be the fastest. You don't even have to be the most skilled.
Nope.
If you just know where to be and what to do when you get there, those NBA coaches have the trainers and the coaches that are going to develop you well enough to make the shot.
Yep.
But if you're open, you got to take that shot because that's the smartest. That gives us the best opportunity.
Yep.
Or defensively, you got to understand these shifts because even if you're smart, you still got to give the chance the best opportunity to make it. So to get the stop. So those 3 things are key. Okay. For last question, for up-and-coming young man or young woman that wants to get into this field of sports management, what are 3 things you gotta have? Whether it's maybe a degree, whether it's a certain kind of personality trait. What are 3 things? Regardless, it could be anything. What are 3 things that you gotta have to not only get here but sustain at this level?
I think the biggest thing for me is to put it simple is know where it's been, know where it's at, and know where it's going.
That's hard right there.
So, like for example, before I was even an agent, I was looking up the Bill Duffys. And for me, the real reason I even was confident enough to jump into being an agent was Rich Paul.
Shout out Rich Paul. I ate brunch with Rich Paul my first year going to McDonald's All-American game. That the first year was in Atlanta. I got to eat brunch with my guy. And he got me some tickets. I don't want to tell the name yet because we bringing him on. He gonna be on the next episode actually after you.
Okay.
But I was coming down. I had tickets already.
Yeah.
So he like, pull up. We can go to the game. Kick it, whatever. Cool. I know. I got some people that's playing.
Yeah.
Bad.
Yeah.
He like, you know what? He gave me his address. He like, no, meet me at the crib. Meet me at the Cheesecake Factory. I'm at the Cheesecake Factory. We eating. I pull up. He like, hey, yeah, pull up to the booth. I turn the corner. It is Rich Paul and his close associate. I forgot his name. Please, respectfully, I'm sorry. but the Caucasian gentleman that
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
works closely with him. So I'm like,
Yeah.
oh snap, the man ended up paying for my food. But
Yeah.
look, I'm a fly on the wall. Shut up,
Yeah.
because I ain't got no business here. I'm not making it look easy just yet.
Yeah.
He like, so what you here for? I'm like, he like, this your friend? This your man? I'm like, yeah, how you doing? I'm Chris Moser. He like, what you here for? I'm like, oh, I'm here for the game. He like, you got tickets? I'm like, yeah, I got my own tickets. He like, this is somebody you should keep.
Yeah.
He got his own, like he ain't coming out here asking for no favors, but he was a good dude,
Rich Paul's
paid
a
for
real.
my food, and gave me some game. I appreciate it,
No,
Rich.
Rich Paul's a real one. I walked past him in this past summer league, and I wanted to stop him to be like, "Yo, you the reason I do this," but I'm not where I want to be yet. I want to be able to look him eye to eye. You know what I'm saying? So when that conversation happens, I'm going to tell him. But right now, like I said, to go back to my point, I knew where the game was at that time. So the Bill Duffy's, the Rich Pauls, I knew who my contemporaries were. I know who I got into this with. I still watch them from time to time.
Right.
And I'm rooting for them at the same time. At the same time, I know we're competing.
Yeah, I'm on the way.
So the Daniel Greens with Green Sports Management Group, the Corey with Easy Sports Group. Like I watch these gentlemen, and as much as I respect them and I respect what they do, I'm also competing with them too. So I'm like, yo,
Right.
I'm him too.
Yeah, I'm right here. I'm in this room, like I'm right here.
I'm him too. And then to where it's going, Holman Sports is growing.
Every day.
I've just this year alone, I've brought on 3 agents that's hungry, and kind of leading them to where they trying to go. They got their own goals and stuff like that. So, having some young guys that's hungry around you, they gonna be the future of this. And we got a lot of things coming. This is actually, this year is the 5-year anniversary of Holman Sports. So
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's
So
in order.
I think the just being able to sustain it is huge. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to see the big picture of all this. When you first start, yeah, it's gonna be tough, but you gotta be able to see 5, 10, 15 years down the line, and to be that last person standing is all this. That's what drives me every day. Yeah, that's what drives me every day. So to know where the game has been, to know where it's at, who are you bumping with, and where's it going? What's the future of the game? What the players are gonna look like? You got 7-footers coming down and grabbing off the rim and going.
Pedro 6'7", he a point guard.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Point
saying.
forward, you
So
better figure it out.
where's the game going? So now you can see where it's going, and you know how to plan appropriately. Holler at the freshman in high school who's 7 foot that's grabbing it off the rim and going. You might want to get to know him. That's where the game is going.
Yeah, the game is definitely changing. Here in the near future, we're going to have some guys from Western Kentucky, and we're going to talk to them about, the business of the game with these NILs and stuff like that. So
that's huge.
I look forward to having them on and talking to them a little bit about that. But, man, I appreciate you taking the time, man. Once again, my guy, Mr. Holman himself, coming and showing some love and joining the My Podcast, man. Any shout outs to anybody else you want to just make sure you?
No, I just wanted to make sure that, the young person who is not blessed with all the height and the skill and all that, but you love basketball, there's a route for you. That little basketball has taken me from Mobley, Missouri to everywhere, and I don't play. And there's businesses that are just valuable to the game and are part of the game that you can get into, and you still have the passion for it. I mean, just because you're not on the court, there's things around this game that pay just as well, and find it. Use that passion to find those opportunities, because just because the ball stops bouncing doesn't mean it's over. I'm living proof of that.
Understand. There are 2 gentlemen, 2 young black men sitting in these chairs that ain't 6 foot,
No.
can't dunk, never dunk,
No.
don't run the fastest, and don't jump the highest. But one thing we have in common, although we are going to the same place, we took 2 different avenues to get to the same place, and we're able to even meet and, more importantly, work together.
Yeah.
And the common X factor, the common denominator in both of us is the undeniable mindset.
Yeah.
So continue to keep God first, keep working hard. Understand, to work hard, we just make it look easy.
For sure.
My God.
For sure. I love you, bro.